interesting question because it depends where you live. Meaning if you live out of town where there's only one day school and it's important to your child that you go to an Orthodox day school, then you don't really have much flexibility. A better question is, what happens if my child does not fit in or does not respond well to the Orthodox education in the day school, and then I have to think about sending my child outside of that structure to a public school, for instance, which is very relevant for parents living outside of Israel. Sometimes, and again, it really depends on age, if a child is small, then you send the child to the school closest to your place of residence, or you send a child farther away if you are looking for a particular ideology. In other words, if you live in a very modern Orthodox community, but you really want your child to have a more yeshivish upbringing, then it's very possible you'll bus your child an hour away to go to a school that reflects your ideology. So I think it's important to look at what do you want to get out of an education system? What are you looking for the school to give your child? How does it integrate with what's going on in the home? I think, again, one of the most complicated situations is where the home and the school are radically different, where the school is more religious than the home or the school is less religious than the home. And so the child is being exposed to radically different ideas of how to live their life, their religious life in particular, in different environments. Now, sometimes children do very well with that. Again, that goes back to the idea of Ba'asher Hu Sham, knowing your child and knowing, does he do well with diversity? Does he or she do well with diversity? Understanding that children have different educational needs. A child who's ADD is going to need smaller classrooms and more attention and more flexibility than a child who flourishes in a frontal, more structured environment. So there's no one answer. What you really need to do is get to know your child as he or she goes through the educational system. Already in Gan, already in nursery and kindergarten, we can begin to see what kind of learners our children are. And the most important thing is that school really be a positive environment. You don't want to send your child to a school where he or she are getting negative feedback for the way they dress or the way they talk or the books they're reading. So depending on where you live, you may have various options. I think for elementary school, we don't ask our children where they want to go to school. We usually choose the option that's easiest for us. As a child grows, child reaches middle school or high school, the child can be part of that conversation, so the child feels that they are helping make a choice that's going to affect their lives. And ultimately, I think parents have to feel that the educational system is responsive when they want to come and talk about their children. That I think would be one of the most important criteria. Does the school see your child, and does the school respond to the needs of your child?